What's up, guys? Welcome to Chris. My name is Chris. Thank you so much for joining me. If you guys are listening to this on iTunes, you may want to watch it on YouTube because I'm going to go over the search ranking for items. And in this episode, I'm going to go over the most frustrating two things about eBay when it comes to search ranking. And everyone knows that there are certain things that makes eBay hide traffic, and there are certain things that make eBay give you better best match, but it's not super clear on what it is. So I'm going to give you guys some examples from my own store. So here's a model of shoe that I'm selling, the Merrell Rally Mock. When I type in search, you'll see that there's 18 results, and you'll see there's not really a clear rhyme or reason what this order really means. Like, if best match, does it mean they're ranking items that have fast and free and a lot of item specifics inside there, or are they ranking items that don't? Are they giving new sellers premium placement? So this first listing and third listing are mine, but in between is a pair of pre-owned shoes. And my question is this a good buying experience for the customer? Because do they really want this pair of shoes from someone that's not top rated, doesn't have guaranteed shipping? And why does this person get this placement on this listing? I don't know why. But then obviously a lot of people will search price lowest first to highest and take a look. And if you're not using any games, like you're not doing promoted listings or whatever, you can see here there are no promoted listings on this page. Also, I use ad blocker right here. So if you guys are paying for promoted listings, I'm not even seeing them on my page because I use an ad blocker. So here, if I search low to high, you'll see another one of my listings pop up right here. And it's showing, if I were to type in new, I would show up that way. So there is an argument to be said that don't do any of these games eBay does, because one, if you pay for promoted listings, they don't even show up on everyone's browser. So you wouldn't even show up the way that I shop. And if you just have the best price and a relevant item, you're going to sell it, regardless. So you don't have to do anything that eBay tells you to do. Just have the best item at the best price. Somebody will search lowest to high. That's how I shop, and then buy your item. I'm going to give you guys something that's a little bit frustrating. So on here, not all of my listings show up. So here we go. So I have this pair of shoes in a size, actually it is showing up right now, size 7. Sometimes this listing doesn't show up unless I literally type in 7 to get this listing to show up. Sometimes it doesn't show up, and I'm wondering if that's because the size is not commonly searched. Let's see, size 8, let's see, 7.5. Okay, so I am showing up now for all these different listings. Okay, so I am showing up, and what I want to really look at is, okay, which of these terms really matters? So I'm going to go back and type this, remove the size for a moment, because I'm going to point out my friend Holly, eBay Princess on Instagram, told me that when she was talking to eBay, they recommend this type of title. Except for maybe not men's and news, but a shorter title, Merrell's Rally Mock Leather. And if you scroll down, you'll see the huge sellers, the people who sell on multiple websites. Let me see if I can find it. Rally Mock. Actually, I can't even find it. See, this is interesting. Each time I refresh the page, there are listings that are missing and not missing, even from some really large sellers. What I'm looking for right now is somebody who's actually authorized in selling Merrell. So I'll go to authorized seller here, and I'm going to show you guys an example. Here we go. So here is a seller that's authorized to sell the Merrell brand. Okay, so they have a deal with eBay where they verified where the supply comes from. And as a buyer, I would rather buy from this person because they have, a logo. But look how short their titles are. Merrell, my point is, they have a really, really short titles, and they also have this icon. So according to the advice that eBay Princess got, you basically want to have the shortest title possible because you want a high conversion rate. So conversion rate, you guys can look up in your service. Let's go to my performance tab. If I go to, right here. So your average click-through rate and your sales conversion rate, mine is relatively low. I would say that it's relatively low, but I have a ridiculous amount of traffic, right? So what I'm doing is I'm keyword stuffing. What that means is I'm entering in a lot of information in the title to try and get as much traffic as possible to my store. So I'm okay with a lower conversion rate because I'm getting a lot more traffic. So that's something that you guys need to think about. Do you want a lot of traffic? And in that case, put as many things in your title as possible. If I go to my store, you can see every single one of my items. I put in as many things as I can that fit in the title. The model, the color, the type. You know, here I have slip-on, casual, driving, moccasin. That's 4 words I added that the other seller didn't put any of those. They just put, let's go back. They just put literally brand, gender, model. I guess they did put the type of material, leather, but not all of them. This one is literally just brand, gender, model, and then another feature, waterproof. So I know people search waterproof and in the title, but look at this one. This one's only 4 words. Merrill Men Hydro Mock. If we click on it, 280 sold with only 4 keywords, right? So this might be something that, you know, this is what they were telling Holly. Like maybe they have a really, really high conversion rate. And if you look at their item specifics, they're terrible. Water, shoes, men, like, you know, this would make a lot of eBay sellers cringe because it doesn't have very much information, right? It's literally the bare minimum to get the blue exclamation point. So let's talk about the blue exclamation point. Here's one of my listings. If you scroll down, it says right here, now more buyers can find your item. If I uncheck this stuff, then this little exclamation point won't be completely filled in. And I'm doing my best to fill this in every single time and doing all this extra work when this person did not do that and they have 280 sold. They literally have no item specifics in here. Just men, product type shoes, not described for midsole type, merchant category, brands are brands Merrill. So this is just a spreadsheet that this company uploaded. There's no actual item specifics that are useful to the customer, yet 280 sold. So are we just wasting our time entering in all this stuff when it doesn't really matter? That's something that you guys need to think about. They probably have a really high conversion because if you're searching for Hydro Mock, let's take a look at how they rank. There we go. They rank number 1. If you type in Hydro Mock, they rank on top. This is the listing we were just looking at. So it makes sense, right? Because they have, if eBay's built for replenishables, they have the most sold. So in best match, they should show up number 1. Now let's look for price low to high. And let's look for new. Okay. So you'll see that there's somebody ranking higher. Okay, that's not them. They're the authorized seller. So here we have Comfort by Design. So Comfort by Design was able to outrank this giant seller by just pricing it for $2 less. Now, there's no promoted listings on my page, right? Because I have an ad blocker. So you can't game it by buying any traffic on my site. I use ad blocker because I don't want to look at ads. I want to look at only what I'm looking for. In this scenario though, I probably would buy from this person for $2 less. So what game do you want to play? Do you want to pay the ransom for promoted listings and maybe not even get the traffic you're looking for? Or you could just price your item a little bit lower than your competition and probably still sell it. Let's go back to best match. So in best match, probably because I clicked on it, but you know, eBay is recommending that I go with this scenario right here, that I buy this item, even though it looks like right here, this third one is the listing that we were looking at before. So that's interesting, right? So these are the different things you guys can do. And we're all looking for time management. What level of accuracy is comfortable for us? Do we want more traffic? So we keyword stuff. This person keyword stuffed. They use all the available words that they can. And it's been proven that using the word new is not necessary because it already says brand new underneath it. So maybe put in another keyword like waterproof in the title to get even more traffic. Also, you don't need the word size. Size doesn't matter because, you know, people don't it's going to show up anyway, even without the word size. So your time management, how much time do you want to put into it? Do you want to do higher prices and pay for promoted listings to show up? Which I don't know if I recommend that, because if someone has an ad blocker, you can't even see it. Plus, it takes time to manage promoted listings. Or no promoted listings and just have a bigger store and price competitively. This would be how I do it. I would recommend Comfort by Design. Looks like a decent store. Look at the 2,600 items for sale and great sell-through rate. So, I would base similar feedback to me. So 1,200 to 1,500 sales a month, and great average sale price of over $50 on their items. And the way I'm coming up with that is looking at their feedback. They're selling a lot more expensive stuff than me, and the majority of it is brand new. So they're taking more time to list than the people who are not. Their competition is doing less work in the title. They're doing a lot more work, and they're getting better results as far as sell-through rate. Because let's look at this store sell-through rate. It's actually lower than you would expect. With 25,000 listings, which is insane. This is a massive store, multi-million-dollar worth of inventory. They only have 1,024 feedback. So their store this is 25,000 listings versus this person has 2,000 listings. So it's only 1/10 the size, and they do 1/3 of the sales of that big store. I'm in the exact same boat. This could be a store that I follow and try and copy, because they're doing kind of what I want to do. So, although their volume is almost the same as mine. So I would want to pick somebody that's got essentially a 6,000 item store and try and copy them to get there. So it just comes down to time management there. So eBay is pushing the item specifics discussion. I have linked the link to eBay's item specifics page. So you can go through here and look at what eBay is recommending. And there's the blue exclamation point that they want put in there. And I do think it helps. My overall thought is more item specifics does help. I don't recommend the shortest title possible, so I would not take that advice personally. Another thing that more item specifics does do is it opens you up to returns, because a customer can return for any reason and you pay if it's your fault. An example for me would be, I'm going to look at this Sebago boat gray shoes. So here's a pair of shoes that I'm selling. So it's nice. I'm ranked number 1 for this category. It's super annoying because on the box it says these shoes are gray. These shoes are not gray. Here is the shoe. It says light gray leather. It's not gray. I even put in the title, in the description, they say gray on the box, but they're more beige. Please do not return this item due to the color. I'm happy to accept a return for fit, but not color. So please, for the love, do not buy this pair of shoes because the box says it's gray. And it's difficult because as a seller, we have to deal with the returns. eBay forces us to pay no matter what for the return. So, just do your best. Also, this has a 3-star rating, which is very annoying because if you look at the ratings, it says they were missized. They're too big. I can't wear them. This has nothing to do with the item, right? And then the second person puts, great. Both verified purchases from me. But now I have this crappy rating of 3 stars out of 5 because someone didn't have the right fit. And that's, hurting me because somebody might not buy this. Be like, why is it 3 stars? Is it reflecting on the seller? They don't know. So a bit annoying here, but this is something you need to consider. The more item specifics you put in here, look how many item specifics I have versus the other one. Solid, 8.5 color, upper material, shoe width, UPC code. I entered in all this stuff when the other seller didn't enter in anything. They still had plenty of sales. So it's interesting, right? More item specific does get you more traffic, but it opens you up to more returns. So for me, I would say if you're small and you're working with a limited amount of money like myself, I don't have unlimited money. I'm trying to be more efficient, have a smaller store. I have 4,000 items in my store and I'm selling 1,200-ish per month, 1,000 per month. So, at sell-through rates like 20%-ish. And my items, have a mix of new and pre-owned, depends on what it is. It depends on what kind of closeouts I can find online when I'm buying new liquidation stuff. So last thing here, which is, should eBay be stricter? When I go to eBay events, they say stuff like, we have 1 billion listings. A watch sells every 15 seconds. They say things that don't matter. I think it's bad that eBay has 1 billion listings. I don't know why they brag about that kind of stuff. When they, you know what Amazon brags about? If you want something fast and reliable, buy on our website. We try to deliver the best customer experience. That's what eBay is trying to do with the item specifics. The problem is they're not clear. They should say things that actually work, because sometimes people are not following the rules and have exceptional sales, and it's confusing. So should eBay be stricter and sort of like remove sellers that are not doing the best job? Now, I'm going to say this and admitting to myself that I could do a much better job, because if you look at my item specifics in my category, if you look at my returns, I have like 1.3 to 1.5 item not as described returns. Okay, and these are, wrong item. Most of my things is they ordered something and it arrived in not the condition that they want. So they'll put not working or defective or the wrong item, because they don't know that the item I sent them, for whatever reason, right? So I'm just saying that I have a 1.46% INAD breakdown, and which I think is all right, depending on, because the category that I sell in, it's hard to catch all of the defects, because with store closeouts, I might mark the item as new or like new, but I don't always open the box to see what the condition of the item is. If somebody has tried it on or they wore it for a couple of days, I don't catch all of those to the degree of 1% per listing, right? On Amazon, I actually think I might be suspended for this high of a defect rate, right? Even though I have decent feedback, right? 99.9%. And I try to work it out with my customers. I have some revised feedback. Maybe on Amazon, I would be banned, because I'm not providing a even higher degree of customer service. So it's something to consider. I don't know if they should ban more sellers. They do have this crazy 5% penalty for bad sellers, which, I'm, from my understanding by talking to eBay, I'm not in danger of that happening if I continue to do what I'm doing, because I'll show you again. I'm in the high category, right? And very high, I would have to pay a 5% penalty, which for me is literally thousands of dollars. So $1,000 really expensive penalty for falling into the very high, right? And it's a balance with trying to run a larger store and trying to avoid all defects. If I had a tiny store, probably I could do it with a much lower rate. Showing my peers here have 0.59% item not as described, which I kind of find hard to believe, but it's okay. Whatever, it is what it is. I wish I could click right here and it would open up a tab of my peers so I could actually look at it. I think that it's illegal to do what eBay does, in a sense that they assess a penalty without showing you your peers. I understand the privacy issue. They don't want to, talk about other people's accounts. I get it. But you're assessing me a penalty of thousands of dollars. I should at least know who I'm being compared against so that I can improve. I don't even know what to look at. I want to know the best practices of the people who are at 0.59. And it just depends on your category. If you have thousands and thousands of items and you're in the low category, please contact me, because I don't usually meet people who have huge stores and are below average, because it's hard to provide that experience when your store is really big. So something to consider, guys. Also, I want to point out the store categories don't matter so much. So here on the left, I have eBay's categories as my categories, because your store categories are subjective. When you click on it, these are drop-down menu items that you could click on to narrow down the different things that people are selling, right? If you enter in your own store categories, there's no way people could actually, people don't actually search by your store categories. They search by eBay store categories. So that's not something that's going to search. So don't spend too much time on store categories unless you want people to search through your store specifically to look through an item. And then the last thought was, does donating to charity help your store, your search ranking? I don't think so personally. I'm using this example of Rally Mock again, because this person who does outrank me puts benefits charity in their title. This is also another thing because we were just looking at this search earlier and mine was ranking above this person. So you don't really know, we don't know all of the things that go in the Cassini, which is eBay search algorithm. We don't know what causes ranking. We don't know how it works exactly. So maybe don't waste too much time on it. So my final thought, so hopefully you guys enjoy this type of content. Please smash the like button and consider subscribing because I feel like I do my best to give you guys information that's actionable for your store. So my advice, my final thoughts is you should have the most dollar amount listed with the fewest items. So it's hard to rank items. It's very hard, and the more items that you have, the harder it is to rank. So what you want is like a lot of a few items to really make this work. Of course, easier said than done. I get it. It's not something super easy, but that's my advice. As your store gets bigger and bigger, you want the number of items to actually shrink. This sounds counterintuitive, but you want to grow the number of items you have in your store that are similar or the same, and that way you can really focus on getting good at it. Because if I've only sold rally mocks, I bet I could sit in here and figure it out and try to just rank number one in this specific thing. But if you wanted me to rank number one with 4,000 items, there's not enough time in a lifetime to do that. So hopefully that's useful, guys. Smash the like button. This video, like all my videos, are sponsored by my reseller field guide. It's $35 with code YouTube. It's in the description below. It also gives you a month free in my mastermind, which meets 7 days a week, where we talk about stuff like this. This is where this conversation is from today, June 21st, 2020. So this is what we talk about every day. This is a lifestyle. It's a marathon, something that you do all the time. Reselling is not, if you want to do it for a living, you kind of have to continuously educate yourself. It's not a one and done thing. You have to continuously learn something. I don't think there's a single seller who does this for a living that's like, oh, I stopped learning a long time ago. It's not true. You learn something all the time. Every time you go onto the website, you notice a new trend. And with eBay having 1 billion listings, something to really take into consideration. It's huge and inefficient. So everyone have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys soon. Until next time, make progress daily.